production server.
Yes, only this.
So basically, once the developer commits the code, so operations team basically deploy those codes on test environment for testers to test it. Basically, the QA team tests it, and once it is like successfully tested, or once like if in case like while making the build it gets failed, so they usually operations team reach out to developer or QA team to resolve those, and also for the monthly and quarterly release cycle also it is needed.
We are missing a very important thing, actually. You all are correct somewhere, but if in an interview, right, interviewer asks, he will not be satisfied with this answer for sure.
To keep the current system sustainable. I mean,
so now we are coming closer a bit, right? Yes, it is about what? Uptime, right? Uptime of what? Your infrastructure, which is delivering to customers. So it should be like maintaining an uptime of 99.99959, right? This is what interviewer would be expecting if it is asking question in terms of operations. So operations have varied responsibilities, but the main responsibility is to keep the systems up and running so that customers are not impacted and your revenues are not getting impacted, because if systems get impacted, customers will get impacted, and obviously it will impact your revenue. Beside that, yes, they have to do many other activities to keep the system sustainable, right? They do what? They have to do regular patching. They have to, right, monitor the systems every time. And with that, they also have, since they are handling your production system, so the deployment rights are with them, and therefore they comes in picture. And if we don't pass or give proper communication with them without they having any knowledge of the product, the high chances, right, they will do some mistake, obviously. And we have to mitigate it, we have to involve them, then only, right, as a team, right, they will take the responsibility, and chances that things will go good. But if there is any communication gap, yes, there is a problem. So with this thought process, DevOps actually thinks in this way also, that a developer should have what? An operations skills also. He should be able to, right, manage or see the system in systems and infrastructure also. That capability, right, a developer should also possess. But it cannot be, right, very much fit in the current market. Therefore we see, right, within DevOps team we need both the skills, right? We need a developer with a core developing skill set, and we also need certain operational skill in our team, in DevOps team. This is what the current Indian market perception is. But actual design goal was something like that. When you are developing something, you should be able to right, take care of the operational activities of your product also. So you would be responsible of deploying them and, right, managing it in the production also. So this is what the main thought process around DevOps. So what it will do basically, right, it will also make the process what, in terms of leaner team size would be reduced in that case, right? Another thing would as a benefit, I would say, would be your product life cycle will be faster, right? When you implement, how it will become faster? Because you will implement the 4 pillars while doing that, right? The DevOps philosophy inclusion. The very first pillar is what? Communication. Okay. Second pillar is what? Collaboration. Then we have integration. And then we have what? Automation. So without these 4 pillars, right, no one can set up a DevOps philosophy or culture in the team. So this is the important pillar, and we need to know about them. So when I say communication, communication means what we are doing actually when we are working. So we use different tools like Jira, right? We use Confluence and other way, right, to pass on the communication. Like email is one of the communication channels. Slack is also one of the communication channels. So we should have a proper communication, right, planned and in place. If it is not there, right, how you are going to communicate? So this is again a very important thing. Collaboration in terms passing of the knowledge. For example, a developer would be missing, right, certain other knowledge that operational engineer have. Means infrastructure side knowledge, right, is might be missing in a developer who's developing very good in writing, right, .NET or Java or Golang or different kind of skills, right? He can develop product, but he is not aware of infrastructure, how they are placed and how actually they are working, how the product that he's written, how it is actually working in the production environment. So this kind of knowledge need to be shared, right, within the team, so that they will gain the capability. Similarly, operational engineer should not be very limited to only doing operational activities. He should also revisit his skill in automation or right development, and he should also be capable of doing certain development activities. This is what the collaboration. So collaboration is nothing, it's sometimes knowledge sharing sessions, right? Maybe companies will provide you certain channel, so that you should get trained and right get equipped with what you want. Now, integration is talking about this. Integration talks about CI, C deliv, I will write, not CD, right? And another thing is C deployment. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me what is continuous integration? We have heard a lot about continuous integration. So what is continuous integration, guys? Anyone?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Um, Building and integrating different models of codes to make one deployable file.
That's true. For example, I can do it right every time developer says me, hey, hello, I did the development now, right? I have written this model. Another developer also said, hey, I have also right developed this model. Then you are going to jump in and right try to build, integrate them, right, and give an executable. Right? But this is
Yes.
not continuous. If it is right something like a communication that hey, I have done now, you jump in and I am gathering and I am doing. So this it becomes a bit a manual right activity. In earlier days, the
Yes.
integration was manual, but continuous integration says what? Any commit by developer, right, or n number of developer doing parallel development for a product, right, should invoke right certain automation which will do what? All the build activities and create an executable which can be deployed in certain stage, maybe test environment. Okay. If
Yes.
you have that capability, that automation, right, then you are continuously integrated. Typically, for example, I am doing a web development and I want to make certain changes in my right front end table, say for example, and say I got this as a right sprint activity. So I started working, and obviously I will not directly jump and try to do it in production. So I will do in my development stage environment. So I will be writing code in my laptop. I will be using certain code versioning system like it. I would have my local repo in my laptop. I would be right developing my code, and when I will commit my code right to the central Git, that is your actual GitHub server, right, which is placed right with the enterprise. And when you commit your code, right, it should do what? It should take your code, it should build it to the executable and place it into the test environment or your development environment in which you want to do the testing. So whatever you have coded, right, is working fine or not, right, in the front end. So this all thing, right, should be a commit base. With your commit, you right, that system will understand, yes, there is a commit, and continuous build system like Jenkins, right, will pull your code, right, and do whatever the build you want to do. For example, you are using some certain build to like Maven or Gradle, which will do that activity for you because you have already defined an automation in Jenkins as a job, and it will do those activity and right place your whatever executable that you have built or a package into certain environment. This is what is continuous integration. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what is continuous delivery and how it is different than continuous deployment?
Okay. In a continuous delivery, for every stage, we are getting an approval to deploy or not. Suppose we have built our tool or our software, and it has to be first going means it has to be tested
Means
first.
somewhere you are right when you have used word approval, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so you have started discriminating between delivery and deployment. That's true, right? But you
Yes.
have to understand this discrimination, right, is a separation. But how? Continuous delivery is when you commit a code, right, it is getting right integrated, build your initially, right, if you are in a snapshot phase of development, means it is in a cycle of development, because bugs may come, testing will happen. So it will place in right test environment, it will get tested. Once tests are successful, right, your
Yes.
commit should go to the release branch, right, and release branch, right, will again right have its own validation, its own test cases, and then it will go to right staging phase, right. In staging also there would be certain test, and if it is successful, right, now it is ready to get deployed in production.
Deployed.
And if your system, right, can deploy it in production, right, or whatever the code directly, then it is what a continuous delivery compliant system. But it is
Yes.
not continuous deployment, because continuous deployment, because every delivery stops at what point? When it's going before production, right, going before to the production, it needs certain set of approvals from stakeholders. Got my point?
Yes. Yes.
Right? So you can have a continuous delivery in place, but you cannot execute it until unless with a continuous deployment in
Deployment.
place. So obviously after staging, means after the staging testing has been done, right, you will stop and you have to take an approval, and that approval if given, right, then only, right, you will invoke with one click deployment to production. But again, this is a manual process, right, and I
Yes.
cannot call it what continuous deployment. So continuous deployment would be what? Whenever the staging test happen, you are generating certain through automation, right, certain email or approval, right, dashboard to the stakeholders, and stakeholders will get as an email, and when they click right there or select yes or something, right, it should trigger one click deployment, right. So
Yes.
if it is in place, then you are continuous, right, you are right having continuous deployment. So remember, you could have continuous delivery, right, but continuous integration and right continuous deployment are subset of continuous delivery. Okay.
Yes.
So Deepak, one question.
Please.
So continuous integration. So it is a good practice. Like once the developer commits a code, it should automatically deploy it on test environment. Like if suppose it's a bad code, then we need to fix it.
So see, no, I never said right test environment. I said right certain environment. A developer would have its own environment, right? Two things when we talk about, there is something called environment and there is something called stage. Okay.
Okay.
For example, you have taken say one you have a network. I am talking in terms of a bit in AWS now, right? But think right in an on-prem environment also, that you have a network. In network, you want to create certain kind of right stages, like dev would be one stage, testing would be one stage, right? And then you would be having a staging stage, right? So now you can have multiple networks also within your company, right? In every right you can say network, you can have different stages, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And right environments would be different again, right, because you are different networks. So every network have environment, and environment you have stages. So a developer would also get its own stage, right? So
Okay.
whenever he's committing his code, because he has to do his own testing also, right, before right finally saying yes we can go ahead, right? So a current cycle, what happens, developer generally have a practice of doing right their unit testing and everything right within their laptop ना, उनके पास सब mock करने का सब चीजें रहता है. But still organization given a platform where a developer also can do what, developer also can write in their branch, they can integrate their branch with the Jenkins job, and whatever they are committing, it is getting deployed in what, a typical dev stage. And in dev stage, they do whatever their testing they want to do or run their test cases. And if they look, if for them the sanity is good, they can write publish it to the next stage. Okay. They can
Okay.
ask, they can ask test team, right, that I am right committing this right for your टेस्ट एनवायरनमेंट, तो उनका जॉब ट्रिगर होगा, उनके पास आ जाएगा, फिर उनका टेस्टिंग सूट जो भी है राइट फीचर टेस्टिंग कर रहे होंगे, तो सिर्फ फीचर टेस्टिंग टेस्ट केसेस के ऑटोमेशन चलेंगे. तो ये
Okay.
एक तरह का क्या है, कैस्केडेड राइट इफेक्ट होता है, राइट. तो इन
Okay.
दैट वे इट हैपेंस.
Okay. So basically, if the code is running fine on the local system of the developer, so that is not like if that is not a continuous integration. It
No.
needs to run on some staging environment.
Yes, that is what makes continuous integration. That will give the confidence, na? Because if something fails, right, everyone in the team, right, stakeholders will come after, because continuous integration fails means it will be intimated. A job is failing, and job right will be communicated. Who is doing the development? He will look into it, right? Why this? integration failing. Maybe right, he's running Maven clean package, and right, packaging somewhere is failing because unit test had failed. So these are the things, right? Give the benefit. If it is a manual process, right, everyone would be reluctant, right? तो मैनुअल होता है तो कौन देखेगा ये चलता है. बट अगर ऑटोमेटेड है तो ऑटोमेटेड डम होता है, फेल होता है तो सबको कम्युनिकेट कर देता है भाई ये फेल हो रहा है ना. तो इसके फायदे यही है कि स्पेसिफाई करेगा आपके डेवलपमेंट एक्टिविटीज. So this right definitions or understanding is also very important. And in terms of automation, I already told you, right? Automation is basically what you are going to automate. So what automation that you want to bring in, right, in your system. So it could be, right, while doing continuous integration, right, while deploying to certain stage, you need certain automation to do, right? Certain code you have to write in continuous integration so that it will, right, call that. For example, in Jenkins, we generally use for automation certain plugins and configure those plugins, or sometimes we write some shell script to that to do or achieve that automation. So obviously automation very popular nowadays is what, using Python scripting or shell scripting. This right most right, you can say, wanted piece in DevOps. If you're somewhere lacking, right, even I would say if you have a very basic knowledge, right, of Python and shell, you will fit into, right, Indian market definitely, right? Doesn't need you to be very high skilled professional, but yes, it should be in your resume. If it is missing in your resume and you're looking for a good DevOps role, right, in certain good organization, they will definitely filter you out. So because this is what one of the primary skills, right? There's somewhere not very visible, दिखता नहीं है DevOps केस में, but behind the scene ये visible है. तो जो आपको recruit करने वाला है उसको पता है, जो hiring manager होगा या जो भी technical interview लेगा, he will definitely look into this aspect. ठीक है, तो ये जो 4 pillars हैं, ये चीज पे हमें वर्कआउट करना जरूरी है. तो अगर मैं समराइज करूं डेवऑप्स को, तो डेवऑप्स ये बोलता है वी वांट टू डिक्रीज टाइम टू मार्केट, and this philosophy want to decrease time to market to pacify your release life cycles. It can be done if we reduce what, trust issues between the DevOps and operations stakeholders and right within the team, and it can be done if we raise the skill set, right, of the stakeholder users which are working within the team, right? For example, operation would be, right, skilling itself in, right, development, and developers would be also skilling them into, right, operational skills or whatever, right, new tools and technologies which are coming in the market. And if you're doing that, right, basically you are following a culture, right, or practice which is known as what, DevOps. This is what I will call our DevOps definition is. Okay. So it is learned from learning and unlearning from different previous models, and right, and there are always, right, some you can say pluses and some minuses, right, in every philosophy or every culture, right, in software development lifecycle that we use. So any question on this part, on the DevOps fundamental parts, guys? So I will be
No.
sharing you certain, right, documents also related to this. Yes, please. Someone is asking some question.
No, sir.
Okay, means clear. Means you, if someone asks, right, to define DevOps, you would be able to, right? Basically, a bit you can talk about at least, right? So obviously, you should talk about these 4 points definitely, right? And you should talk about time to market, trust, skill set, and yes, you also can say, right, it is a gap need to be, right, fulfilled between, right, developers and operation. That is one thing which is generic, but these are the main behind the scene things, right, that you should be aware of. Now, coming to actual work and roles, responsibilities, right, while you're working, right, as a DevOps engineer. See, market, whatever says, right, there are different roles within the DevOps. There would be a developer who is working as DevOps. There would be tester who will be working as a DevOps engineer. But primarily, what is happening in the market, what we have seen, generally DevOps engineers are working, right, as you can say infrastructure side mostly, right? For example, for a developer, they need, right, certain infrastructure in place already to do their development activities, right? And so they can specify and do work, so they should not feel incapable, right, in terms, because they lack infrastructure knowledge. So you will see different companies are presenting this model in that area where they're building certain systems which will provide, right, platform or a system, right, with all the capabilities for a developer to start developing and, right, integrating easily. So you are providing them a complete platform with all this continuous integration, delivery, deployment, so they can start their development rather than bothering about, right, environment stages and everything. So this is what you will observe, but it doesn't mean, right, this is the area, right, where only, right, DevOps jobs would be there. DevOps jobs are coming into the plane, right? You can say development life cycle deliveries, which are companies are doing, performing. They're also they're implementing DevOps culture. So a DevOps engineer can work as a configuration management engineer, as a developer, as a tester, right? As an integration engineer, whatever roles were earlier there, they would be there, but in a different culture, different philosophy, right? That you have to understand. Ultimate goal would be what? Faster cycle of, right, releases with less bugs, or कहते हैं, with a good quality. That is the main, right, goal. And they identified, right, that is the main issue behind that is the trust issue and the skill set that need to be improved on. And right, we need to keep continuous integration, delivery, deployment, and automation skill in place within the team, right, who are working in a DevOps culture. Okay, now I just want to give you an annotation also, so that you will, what I was saying, right, you can also correlate with that. So typically flow that we also would be going through, our course would also be going through, would be something like this. So first of all, you can treat like you are, right, there are certain developers, right, that you are working like a developer, maybe, right, an infrastructure developer, maybe a core developer skill with, right, whatever you have. So you are some developers who are working. I'm just writing D as a okay. So there are developers and parallel development happens nowadays, right? And therefore we have distributed plus centralized code versioning system. So I will write, we will be using certain SCM. So source code management tools, right, that we are going to study is what? About Git. So we'll be very thorough in it. We would be aware. So obviously developers would be, right, doing their commits to the source code management for a product that you are working on, right? Everyone would be doing their development in their, right, typical feature branches, right? And that those feature branches, right, would be there in source code management. And right, as per their build is ready, a pull request would be raised, right, to typical environment deployment. And once it is pulled, it will, right, actually trigger what? A job in a continuous build system. So we have a continuous build system in place. So when I say continuous build system, right, we are going to learn what? Jenkins in our course. So obviously, when you do a commit, we had written jobs in Jenkins in such a way that it is actually polling for every commit in SCM, and as per that, it actually does what? It triggers the job, right? So an automated way. Whenever you commit, we had written our jobs in such a way that it will poll for the commit and it will trigger itself. Now, for writing that jobs, we need to do certain integration. So one integration is with, right, source code management with the Jenkins. Another will need to integrate with code versioning, continuous build tools. Basically, we'll take the circle here, and I will say continuous build tool. So continuous build tool like Maven, Gradle, Camel, right, etc. So we will be learning Maven. So continuous build tool, this job will be integrated. This job also would be integrated with Artifactory servers. Can anyone name me any Artifactory server that you are aware of?
Nexus is there.
Nexus. So we are going to study that only, right? It's a pop-up, right? So Artifactory server. So we will be doing integration, and we'll be understanding how these artifacts are put by jobs into the artifact server. So we need to understand the difference between snapshot and release, while writing jobs. So we will be integrating with this, and we will be also learning different configuration management tools. So obviously configuration management tool will come in picture while you have to do the deployment in different stages. Right? So there could be different stages. So stage could be you are deploying in test environment. Okay. You will be deploying it in staging environment or pre-live, whatever you call, pre-prod. There are many names to it, right? Staging environment, and you have your production systems. So production system is not very simple like test or staging environment. It would be very complicated place, where there will be a lot of other entities, and obviously there would be cluster of VMs in which you have to do your deployment. Obviously you need configuration management tool. So configuration management tool that we are going to learn in our course is, we are going to learn Ansible, we are going to learn Terraform. Okay. So we will be learning from both from Ansible and Terraform both provisioning, and configuration management, service orchestration, deployment activities using Ansible and Terraform to a particular system, which could be in a test machine, which could be a production machine. And remember, we are also going to learn basically the microservices aspects, basically in terms of, we are going to learn about OS virtualization. So in OS virtualization, we are going to learn about Docker, We will have multiple labs in Docker, and we will be learning also Kubernetes as a container management platform. So we'll be learning Kubernetes as a, and for monitoring, we would be learning using Grafana. So we will be using Grafana as a monitoring tool. So we will be creating dashboard, understanding how to integrate with our data source, and we will be doing this. So this all, we are going to learn. Beside that, I have missed Python basics and AWS fundamentals that, we are going to also. So all of this thing, we will be using our AWS environment to implement. So this is how, our course will go ahead, further. So any question on that, guys? Or is it clear, or means you didn't understand few things in it? You should come forward. So your silence would be yes for me.
Sir, what is the difference between Ansible and Terraform?
See, first of all, Terraform is more like a provisioning tool, and Terraform is kind of is built in a different philosophy, So when I say philosophy, I will talk about few things. For example, blueprint,
Okay.
that is something that you have thought of, how your infrastructure should look like, that's what you thought, and then you write the desired state that you want to build, एक तो होता है blueprint और दूसरा होता है desired state कि भाई ये ऐसा होना चाहिए system मेरा, and then is an execution that you do. Basically when you execute your desired state code that we call as infrastructure as a code in Terraform, you will be writing. So obviously it will do that, whatever the blueprint desired state that you have built, and create it as a real world.
Okay.
Same thing Ansible can also do, but their perception is different, they will not do what Terraform is going to do. Terraform will copy, the footprints what you have done. मतलब पहले आपने क्या build किया था उसका copy उसके पास रहेगा, राइट, और उसके इटरेटिव जो चेंजेस हैं वो अपने पास मैनेज करके रखेगा। तो वो उस तरीके से उसको डेवलप किया हुआ है, ठीक है। बट दूसरा चीज ये है कि एंसिबल तो कर सकता है दोनों, प्रोविजनिंग भी कर सकता है, राइट, डिप्लॉयमेंट भी कर सकता है, हम टेराफॉर्म में भी कर सकते हैं। तो टेक्नोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस तो बहुत विजिबल है। एंसिबल इज रिटन ऑन व्हाट? पाइथन। Terraform is written on which language? Go language.
Golang.
Okay. The Ansible uses which DSL? DSL is what? Domain specific language. Now current tools, जितने भी tool बनते हैं, right, modern tools, they have an approach. There would be something called domain specific language they use, right, so that they can integrate with the abstract, that is your Python. Because Ansible के लिए ये नहीं है कि आपको Python आना बहुत जरूरी है, ठीक है। अगर Python नहीं भी आता है आपको, आप Ansible पे काम कर सकते हो, क्योंकि Ansible ने ऑलरेडी प्री रिटन मॉड्यूल्स लिखे हुए हैं। तो आपके लिए वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है, बट आपको क्या पता करना चाहिए कि मॉड्यूल को कैसे यूज करें। तो उसके लिए क्या है, YAML यूज किया एंसिबल ने, ठीक है। टेराफॉर्म ने क्या यूज किया, हैशिकॉर्प लैंग्वेज, व्हिच इज सिमिलर लाइक ग्रूवी की तरह लिखना, राइट, इन कर्ली ब्रेसेस। तो वो इस तरह के तुम्हें टेक्नोलॉजिकल डिफरेंसेस देखेंगे। बट यस, आइडियोलॉजी भी थोड़ा डिफरेंट है टेराफॉर्म का। टेराफॉर्म ये सोचता है कि आई शुड बी कैपेबल ऑफ डूइंग ईच एंड एवरीथिंग विदाउट इंट्रोड्यूसिंग अ न्यू टूल टू कंप्लीट राइट थिंग, right? For example, Terraform is very much capable to work with low level, high level components of infrastructure, but Ansible may have some certain restriction in that. Terraform supports multi-cloud, right? तो सारे Azure, GCP, IBM सबके साथ integrate किया हुआ अपने आप को। Ansible lacking that in some context, right? So these are the some differences that right you will see. और दूसरा है Ansible क्या है, clientless है, right? Ansible doesn't need, right, client to be installed, right, on the remote machines. Terraform भी वही नेचर है उसका भी, ठीक है, like Ansible, push based configuration management approach, chef और puppet की तरह नहीं, जहाँ पे there is a client server model and client generally, right, look for the desired state to a hosted सर्वर, राइट, कि भाई मेरा जो डिजायर स्टेट है और जो वहाँ पे रखा हुआ है कोड वो दोनों मैच करता है कि नहीं करता। अगर नहीं मैच करता है तो वो पुल कर लेता है अपने आप को, डिजायर स्टेट पे लेके आ जाता है। यहाँ पे हम क्या करते हैं, डिजायर स्टेट पुश करते हैं, एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं, ठीक है ना, whenever we have to do deployment. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
What is artifact server?
So say for example you are building a particular application, है ना, तो आपका एक तो आपका खुद का कोड होगा और आपकी खुद के जो भी आपने जो लाइब्रेरीज बनाए होंगे वो यूज होंगे, करेक्ट है ना। मान लो मैं एक सिंपल उबेर का एप्लीकेशन बना रहा हूँ, तो मैंने जो कोड लिखा उसमें मेरे चीज़ें क्या होंगी, जो मैंने ऐप में लुक एंड फील दिया है, राइट, उसके लिए जो जो मैंने लाइब्रेरीज कोड के यूज़ किए मैंने अपने कोड में यूज़ किए, तो वो सारे लाइब्रेरीज, राइट, जो मेरे कोड को डेवलप करके एग्जीक्यूटेबल जो मेरा चलेगा वो सारे लाइब्रेरीज, प्लस अब मैंने मैप यूज किया होगा तो मैंने थर्ड पार्टी से मैप लिया होगा, राइट, वो लाइब्रेरीज। तो जब मैं बिल्ड कर रहा हूँ ये सारी चीजें मुझे चाहिए, राइट, दैट इज व्हाट, राइट, वेयर आई वुड स्टार्ट, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज वैलिडेशन, राइट, इन टर्म्स ऑफ बिल्ड थिंग। तो जो बिल्ड टूल होते हैं वो क्या करते हैं, पहले वैलिडेट करते हैं कि सारे लाइब्रेरीज जो इस एप्लीकेशन को बिल्ड करने के लिए हैं वो है कि नहीं। तो क्या करता है ये बिल्ड टूल्स, क्या करते हैं, सब उसको डाउनलोड करके लेकर आते हैं, या एक डेवलपर मैनुअली डाउनलोड करके कहीं रख देता है और टूल को बता देता है कि यहाँ पे मैंने रखा हुआ है। बट इन प्रोडक्शन यू विल नॉट डू दैट। टेस्ट एनवायरनमेंट और डेवलपमेंट एनवायरनमेंट तक ठीक है मैनुअल, बट जनरली मेवन बना हुआ है क्या, वो किसी सेंट्रल डेपो से जाके वो सारे लाइब्रेरीज जो कोड को चाहिए वो पुल करके लाके रखता है। और जब आप बिल्ड करते हो तो आपका भी एग्जीक्यूटेबल बनता है। तो ये सारे जो चीजें बन रही हैं, राइट, configuration files, your application jar, the libraries that you need, right, are nothing but called what, artifacts, है ना। And these artifacts, right, will need when it is getting deployed somewhere. So what you do, you copy all these artifacts in artifact server. So it is kind of what, somewhere it is saved, your application kind of repository, आपका application का version repositories है। जैसे कोड का अपना वर्जन रिपोजिटरी एससीए में रखते हैं, वैसे एप्लीकेशन कहाँ रखते हैं, आर्टिफैक्ट सर्वर पे। और इस आर्टिफैक्ट सर्वर से मेरे को बहुत सारे फायदे हो सकते हैं। ये क्योंकि आर्टिफैक्ट सर्वर के साथ क्या आएगा, उसके एपीआईज होते हैं, तो मैं आर्टिफैक्ट सर्वर से भी क्या कर सकता हूँ, प्रोडक्शन पे, स्टेजिंग पे, कहीं पे भी डिप्लॉय कर सकता हूँ मेरा एक्जीक्यूटेबल्स। सो आई कैन यूज आर्टिफैक्ट सर्वर फॉर डिप्लॉयमेंट पर्पसेस आल्सो, ठीक है। और वहां पे मैं दोनों तरह के वर्जन रखता हूँ। मैं इटरेटिव डेवलपमेंट के लिए स्नैपशॉट्स का अलग फोल्डर रहेगा, राइट, और आपके रिलीज के लिए रहेगा। तो एक तरह का क्या हो गया, आपके पास हिस्ट्री भी पड़ा हुआ है, अगर मान लो कुछ हो जाता है प्रोडक्शन पे, तो नेक्सस के पास तो सारे आर्टिफैक्ट पड़े हुए हैं, वहां से आप क्या कर सकते हो, रेक्टिफाई कर सकते हो चीज़ों, है ना। ये फायदा हो गया। दूसरा फायदा क्या होगा, डेवलपर को क्या फायदा हो जाता है, कई बार क्या होता है आप एक चीज कर रहे हो जो वो चल गया एक राइट साइकिल, बट नेक्स्ट साइकिल जब आपने रन किया उसमें फेल हो गया आपका राइट जॉब, तो आपको पता नहीं चल रहा है कि यार दोनों में पहले सही हुआ दूसरे में फेल हुआ, क्या हुआ ऐसा गड़बड़। तो आप क्या कर सकते हो, मैच कर सकते हो आर्टिफैक्ट सर्वर में जाके, क्या ऐसी लाइब्रेरी नहीं आई जिसके कारण कोड नहीं चल रहा है, तो वो डिबगिंग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू में भी काम आ जाता है। तो वर्जन ऑफ राइट योर लाइब्रेरीज मिसमैच है कहीं पे, तो वो आप आर्टिफैक्ट सर्वर से मैच कर पाते हो। तो दिस आर द बेनिफिट्स। ओके, एनीथिंग एल्स गाइस?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's move to our right second topic. I will be clearing this. Okay. Now how many of you have already AWS free account with you, and or no one have?
I had,
Okay.
but वो 1 year के ऊपर हो गया है तो मुझे न्यू
Okay.
क्रिएट करना
हाँ, तो
पड़ेगा।
नया जीमेल आईडी से बना सकते हो, ठीक है।
ठीक है।
So just I want to give you idea, and after that, right, I will show you the document that you have to follow. I will drop that document, and I want, right, in this week, right, you should set up your AWS account. It's not that difficult, anyone can do. So you have to go to awsamazon.com, right, this link, and here, right, you have to do what? You have to do a sign in, since I already have, right, so I will do what, I will go to sign up page. Let me go here, sign in, and then I will go to the sign up page. So there would be something called create a new AWS account, and whatever the link that you get, right, this is the link that you have to use, right, billing, sign up, start, and here you can start creating your, right, AWS account. So filling this will take you to the next page where you have to right, fill certain right, forms. Basically it should be an individual account, right. They will ask you for your debit card or credit card information, right, and they will deduct 1 rupees, and right, they will give you back that rupee, right, that what they have deducted. And remember, you don't need to pay for your use. In case if you got a certain right bills while doing labs, you can always get it waived off. I have done n times, right. So they will never hesitate to, right, waive off your bill. Only few things, few guidelines that while doing course I will be giving you, that what kind of right instances you should not create, right, while doing lab, right, what are the best practices that you should follow, that will help you, and you can take the benefits of AWS, right, for 12-month free tier access for learning purposes. Okay, and this is what, right, you should be doing. So let me show you the account creation document. So obviously create an AWS account for the first time, you will get certain, right, tab like this, right, a button like this, create an AWS account, and you will go to the sign in page, right, and here you have to fill this information, and then this page will come, right, contact information, and you have to fill this. Okay. And then right, your card information, whatever, once it is filled, right, either you will get a call or right, right, SMS, and whatever the code you will get, right, as per that you will be right sorted out. Means आपका हो जाएगा, जो पिन मिलेगा वो डाल दिया आपने, आपका ये कंटिन्यू किया, you will be right, you are ready with a account. इतने ही बस steps में follow करना है, कोई इसमें कोई difficult ऐसा नहीं है. Only one thing, right, sometime what happen, your account creation process gets completed, but when you go to EC2 instance, for example, this is my free tier account, right. So if I go to, for example, my instances, जैसे मैं कोई सर्विस में जा रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे सर्विसेज टैग आपको दिखेगा जब आप लॉगिन करोगे. आप जनरली जीमेल आईडी यूज करते हैं, तो जीमेल आईडी आपका रूट अकाउंट होता है, तो रूट अकाउंट से आप लॉगिन करते हैं जो आपने पासवर्ड सेट किया है. तो अभी मैं जैसे EC2 सर्विस में ऐसे क्लिक करके जाऊंगा यहाँ पे कंप्यूट के अंदर जो EC2 सर्विस है, तो आपको हो सकता है कि एरर आएगा कि अभी तक आपका स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ, जैसे ये पेज आना चाहिए बट ये पेज नहीं आके आपको कुछ एरर मैसेज आएगा। तो इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि आपका स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ, कई बार होता है थोड़ा टाइम लेता है। अगर फिर भी नहीं हो रहा है, व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, यू हैव टू गो इन दिस राइट कॉर्नर, इफ यू सी राइट देयर इज अ सपोर्ट, यहाँ सपोर्ट में जाना है, सपोर्ट सेंटर पे जाना है और यहाँ पे आप एक क्रिएट केस कर सकते हो, ठीक है। ओके, जैसे अकाउंट एंड बिलिंग सपोर्ट आपके लिए रहेगा, टेक्निकल सपोर्ट फॉर राइट प्रिफर्ड यूजर्स, जो मतलब कंपनीज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के पास रहता है, फ्री टायर में नहीं रहता, ठीक है। इसमें आप जाके आप आपका केस डाल सकते हो, इट इज रिलेटेड टू अकाउंट, राइट, कैटेगरी आप डाल सकते हो एक्टिवेशन, एंड देन राइट यू कैन राइट कि क्या हुआ है एक्टिवेशन, एंड यू कैन सिंपली यूज आइदर फोन चैट, राइट, सो फोन वुड बी क्विकर, राइट, they will call you and you can say, and they will from backend they will enable for you. So sometime because of certain billing thought, right, they will keep you on hold, but in one day they means within a day, right, they will get started, your account will get activated. So try it. If you face any challenge, do let me know, right? You can write call me, or you can write put in WhatsApp. I will try to help you out. So it is a 2 or 3 days activity in terms if you face any challenge, not more than that. So challenge भी क्या है in terms of initiation activation, which will finally will happen. Okay. तो ये आपको करना है, ये डॉक्यूमेंट में आपको शेयर कर दूंगा, राइट, जो बनाया मैंने, राइट। Once right your account is created, there is a process through which how to log in into right AWS instance. So that I'm going to show you. So यहाँ पे मैंने बहुत ही detailed दिया हुआ है. If you are much interested, you can go to this detailed information and do as per right this instruction given. But what I'm going to show in this video, that is also right will help you to achieve. So I will say something like this. You go to your, once you are ready with your account, you should go to your EC2. Okay, and you will see right this page, and you will see a launch instance out here, right, launch instance. So click on launch instance. Okay, and in launch instance you can choose right whatever machine you want. For example, say I want to learn on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, so I will select this. Or if I want to learn on Ubuntu, I can select Ubuntu also. Okay, so remember always choose T2 micro until unless I will say you for certain labs to use T2 small, because all these types of machine, right, is based on the CPUs and memory and other use cases, right. These types are defined for certain right purpose. For example, data के लिए अलग रहेगा, right, application enterprise application के लिए अलग suggested machines होंगे. So we are going to use this T2 micro, which has only one CPU and one memory. We most of our labs will right work on that. So because it will not load our laptop, every heavy lifting will happen on the AWS machine side, right? They have their own VMs that will be using. So in this, right, selecting this, right, you can configure your instance detail. You can go to next, right? So how many instance you want? Generally, I want one instance, so I will select this one, right? So it will land up to the default VPC. You don't need to create a VPC, right? It will use a default VPC. Subnet, it will put in one of the subnets. I will talk about right what is the reason, what is basically in the AWS fundamental session after that, right? So it's just a start point that I will give you and give certain information. So this page you can keep as it is, right? You don't need to right put anything. There are certain things that you should be aware, but that is right pertaining to very good AWS knowledge. For example, what is the IAM role while creating an instance? For example, you want to restrict, right, this particular instance, so you can create a role with certain policy which can restrict right to a certain limit, that certain only actions can be done on right that EC2 instance. So this roles and policies concepts are also there, so you can keep as it is, don't no need to change, right? You can go to add storage. So add storage, every machine when you create, right, gets what 8 GB or 10 GB of what volume, that is your disk, right? And you should use the default ones, right, general purpose. Remember, root volume data doesn't right go, but if you use add certain other volume, right, which is ephemeral, and you might lose your data, but whatever you are using, you will not lose data in this volume until your machine is up and running, right? If you terminate your machine, obviously this volume will also get terminated. So this is the volume which is attached to your instance. Okay. So add tag is just giving some name, right? Why you are creating this machine. For example, I give a name that I am learning, right? Learning, say DevOps. मैंने S नाम का एक मशीन बनाना है मुझे, तो मैंने टैग दे दिया so that I can identify कि कौन सा मशीन बना है. Now security group is basically it's a kind of access related thing, right? And there are two things that you have to understand. The difference between NACL, that is Network Access Control List, and security group. There are two different things. So NACL is also allowing the traffic, right, which is coming into your you can say your network basically. So when you restrict the you can say traffic at the network level, right, generally you use NACL. So it would be right on the subnet level basically. But this security groups, right, sits over the instance level. So what should come to the instance, right, is defined into what security group. So generally I would say whatever you will allow, right, basically incoming, right, that is same will be applied for outgoing, right, in terms of security group. So for example, I am allowing SSH so that from the outside world someone can access, right, to this machine that I'm creating. So this is what the rule, right, for this. So this is not very a secured practice, right? In organization, nobody wants, right? Some outer people should do SSH, so they would might have SSH enabled to a certain network, right, restriction level. So this CIDR will change as per that, right? Who is going to access that particular instance? So I can create a new security group and right, I can change this name also, right? To say my SSH, something like that, right? Or you can keep it as what default name that has given, right? And then you can go review and launch. So you will get a summary of what you have done, right? And then you can launch this machine, launch this instance. Now, for a very beginner, right, you would not have, right, existing key pair. So you have to do what? You have to create a new key pair. See, I am creating a new key pair, and I'm naming it, for example, this Jan batch. Okay. So key pair name I'm giving like a Jan batch. Okay. You can give whatever you want to give, right? And you should not create multiple key pairs, right? I'm creating for the batches, but you should create only one key pair and use it. Else it will confuse you in time in terms of, right, right, creating or logging into machine. So when you get a good hold and good understanding, then go for, right, creating multiple key pair as per the need. And once you have given a download this key pair, okay. So I will keep it in tools. I have a keys folder created, so I will create here. So this is like a private, right, key that has been shared by AWS, right? And we can generally, right, use this key pair to log in into that machine. So it is written a key pair is basically consists of public key that AWS stores and a private key that you store. So obviously we are downloading what our private key file. And so communication or authentication happens between this private key and public key. So they have given us a private key and we will be trying to use that private key to log in. Okay. And then we will launch instance. अभी मशीन क्या होगा, अप आ रहा होगा, हम लोग जाएंगे. We can see, right, this machine is coming, right, pending learning DevOps, that at the below, right, it is coming. So this is basically your machine which is coming up. We will wait to commit in running state so that we can log in into that instance. Now it is, right, come up, right. Now there are two way you can do login, right? Either you should install a git bash in your Windows machine, right, or you can use putty through which you can log in, which is nothing but a client, right, to connect to the servers basically. So from where you will get that client, putty client? So there is a site called Shirak. So just you can search for Shirak putty. download. So it will take you to the link, right? Shirak download putty. So you just click on this link, and here, right, you will see alternative binaries file. So for example, if you want putty, you should download a 64-bit because most of the machines now are 64-bit. So you should download. If your laptop is 32-bit, then you have to download this. But for 64-bit machines, putty.exe, you can download. Click over this, it will download it. Okay. And again, you have to download one more thing, that is this puttygen. So why we need this puttygen? Because putty needs to understand the private key, right? It's on, right, understandable putty key. So we will convert our PAM file, right, to putty understandable key so that we can log in. So you have to download this puttygen .exe. So this, from this page you can download it 64-bit. I already had downloaded them. So I will go to that tools. Here I have both putty.exe and puttygen.exe, right? It's visible to you, right, guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, yeah, I will go to this puttygen.exe first. This is one-time activity I'm going to do, right? Puttygen activity, and I will do what? Load, right? And I will go to my key section, and I see currently it is showing only PPK files. This is a putty generated key, but I want, right, to load what? My PEM file. So I'm clicking on all files so that I can see all. Let me take it down, and I will look for this PEM file, right? This is the Jan batch PEM file, right, that I have downloaded from this. So I will click here. I will open it. It will say successfully imported foreign key. I will say okay. So when it is, right, loaded, I will say save private key, right? This one, save private key, not save public key. And remember, parameter should be RSA, not DSA, right? So RSA is an encryption, right, which is both digitally signed and encrypted, but DSA is only digitally signed, not encrypted. So generally we use RSA. Now let's click on save private key. Are you sure you want to save this key without passwords? Yes, I don't want to set a password. So I will say yes. And I will give it the name Jan batch. Right, and remember this same name I am giving, but it is stored as which extension? .ppk, not PEM. So this is why I am converting, right, that putty can understand. So there is a reason behind, because I want to log into the server. Now I am saving it, right? So it's been saved. I can close it now, right? My work with the putty gen is done. Now I will try to log into that machine. So I will go to putty, right? This is my putty screen. Okay, let me minimize everything. Okay. Now, since I want to log in, so I need to configure my putty so that every time I come, right, I should not fight and write again, right? So I will make a setting such a way that I can reuse it, no? So that I don't want to come again and do the same activity again and again. Initially, you might face some, right, challenge, because sometime to get hold on, right, needs practice. To one time, two time, and after that you will be, right, pro actually, right? You will understand how to do. But concentrate and ask question if you have any queries. Now here generally we give out host name or IP address where I want to log in. So from where I will get this? I will get from here, right? This is my machine. So I will click over here, and in detail section, right, I will get this instance public IP, right? See, now let me take it up now. So you can see, right, this is the public IP in details. I have selected learning DevOps machine, and in the details section in instance summary, I am getting this public IP. I will use public IP because I am connecting from my laptop. I need a public IP to connect, right? I copied this public IP, right? Obviously, every machine would have user to log in, right? Without user, how I can log in? So I need to know user. Remember one thing, and keep it in always mind, right? For Red Hat machines, sent to Red Hat CentOS machine in AWS, username is what? EC2-user. This is the name of the username. If you're creating a Debian or Ubuntu machine, तो अगर आप Ubuntu machine सेटअप कर रहे हो और कोई भी Debian मशीन, तो यूजर नेम इज Ubuntu. You have to keep in mind, right? You should be aware of this कि EC2 यूजर होता है रेड हैट मशीन के लिए Ubuntu. मैंने रेड हैट मशीन यूज किया है, तो आई एम गोइंग टू यूज दिस यूजर. ओके, सो हियर I will give EC2 dash user @IP, right? This is what how I am going to log in. Now I need to give right authentication, right? Username password जो हम देते हैं, right? वो तो हमसे पूछेगा नहीं क्योंकि AWS ने की बेस्ड ऑथेंटिकेशन दिया है, तो हमें वो सेट करना पड़ेगा. तो मैं क्या करूँगा, उसको सेट करने के लिए ये जो कैटेगरी वाला जो पेन देख रहे हो ना, यहाँ पे कनेक्शन के अंदर SSH दिख रहा है, इस पे प्लस पे क्लिक करना है आपको. प्लस पे क्लिक करने के बाद ऑथ के ऊपर क्लिक करना, ऑथ के प्लस पे नहीं, ऑथ पे. ठीक है, ऑथ पे क्लिक किया और यहाँ पे जो ये ब्राउज आ रहा है, राइट, SSH के ऑथ में जो ये ब्राउज आ रहा है, इसमें जाके हमें अपना PPK डालना है, जनबेच PPK, राइट. इसको ये हमारा क्या आ गया, यहाँ पे PPK आ गया. दिस इज वन स्टेप, राइट. नाउ I will go here in session again, right. I will give this, right, like a janbatch. अब मैंने एक नाम दिया है एंड आई वांट टू सेव इट. अगर मैं सेव नहीं करूंगा तो जो मैंने एक्टिविटी यहाँ पे की डाला है सब क्या हो जाएगा, अनसेव हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं बंद करूंगा तो चले जाएगा. तो इसलिए अच्छा है मैं इसको एक बार सेव करके रख लूँ. तो मैंने इसको सेव कर लिया. अभी मैंने सेव किया, देखो यहाँ पे जैन बैच आ गया. ठीक है, अभी मैं मान लो इसको बंद कर देता हूँ. ठीक है, वापस से जाता हूँ मैं और पुट्टी खोलता हूँ. अभी देखो यहाँ पे जैन बैच है, मैं इस पर क्लिक करूँ, इसको मैं डबल क्लिक करके लॉगिन करने का ट्राई करता हूँ या मैं लोड कर सकता हूँ. तो मैंने लोड किया, तो देखो जो मेरे कॉन्फ़िगरेशंस थे वो सारे के सारे इन प्लेस है, राइट. जो जो चीज़ें मैंने सेट की थी सब पड़ा हुआ है. तो आपको सेव करने से फायदा ये कि आपको बार बार चेंज करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वन थिंग दैट यू हैव टू चेंज, राइट, इज व्हाट दिस IP, बिकॉज वी आर यूजिंग डायनेमिक IP इन AWS. तो हमेशा मशीन जब भी स्टॉप होगा, राइट, स्टार्ट होगा, तो IP चेंज होगा. बाकी सारी चीजें सेम रहने वाली, की आपका यूजर नेम, राइट. तो सिर्फ इस पे चेंज करना है. तो अभी मैं इस पे ओपन करता हूँ, लॉगिन करके देखता हूँ कि लॉगिन हो रहा है कि नहीं. तो जैसे EC2 जैन बैच को करके मैंने लोड किया और यहाँ पे ओपन क्लिक किया, तो सी इट इज आस्किंग दिस, यस. Now I am able to log in into, right, a VM, right, which I can use for learning purposes, right. So this is how you can easily get connected. ठीक है, तो ये एक तरीका. अब दूसरा क्या हो सकता है, मान लो मैंने इसको बंद कर दिया, ठीक है, और मैंने यहाँ पे जाके मशीन को स्टॉप कर दिया. टर्मिनेट नहीं करना कभी भी, राइट. ये देखो जैसे मशीन सेलेक्ट किया है, यहाँ पे इंस्टेंस स्टेट है, तो यहाँ पे स्टॉप, रिबूट, टर्मिनेट के ऑप्शन है. तो अगर मेरे को बंद करना है तो मैं स्टॉप करूंगा हमेशा लर्निंग के टाइम पे, मैं टर्मिनेट नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि मुझे बाबा मशीन नहीं बनानी. ठीक है, तो मैं यहाँ पे स्टॉप इंस्टेंस किया, मैंने स्टॉप कर दिया इसको. अब मैं जब स्टॉप करूंगा इसका IP देखना, जब मैं स्टार्ट करूंगा वापस से, ये पब्लिक IP है, चेंज हो जाएगा. तो एवरी टाइम, राइट, व्हेन यू आर वर्कड, राइट, वर्कड ऑन, आपका काम खत्म हो गया, बंद कर दो, उसको स्टॉप कर दो, नेक्स्ट टाइम आके करो. क्यों? क्योंकि पर मंथ आपको कितने आवर्स मिलते हैं, 720 आवर्स फ्री मिलते हैं. हर महीने का 720 घंटा इंस्टेंसेस का फ्री है. अगर मान लो आप 3 इंस्टेंस रखते हो, 3 इंस्टेंस पे काम कर रहे हो, और मैक्सिमम 3 ही रखना, 3 से ज़्यादा मत रखना, क्योंकि वॉल्यूम 30 के ऊपर चार्ज है. हर सिस्टम कितना वॉल्यूम लेता है, 10 GB. और अगर 4 मशीन बनाओगे तो कितना हो जाएगा, 40. तो 10 GB का आपको चार्ज लगना शुरू हो जाएगा. तो मैक्सिमम मशीन दैट यू कैन कीप इज 3, राइट, सो दैट यू विल नॉट गेट बिल्ड. बिल भी आया तो कोई टेंशन नहीं है, सब वेव ऑफ हो जाता है. ठीक है, तो उसका टेंशन मत लेना. कई बार अगर आपको 4 या 5 बनाने हो तो बना के बिंदास करना, कोई टेंशन नहीं है उसमें. हाँ, मैं ये बोल रहा था कि 720 आवर्स है. ऑब्वियसली यू शुड नॉट, राइट, स्पेंड, जैसे आप भूल गए, आपने काम किया फिर भूल गए और उसके बाद बंदी करना भूल गए और 1 वीक के बाद आप आ रहे हो, तो यू आर वेस्टिंग योर आवर्स बेसिकली. तो इससे अच्छा है हमेशा काम खत्म करने के बाद उसको स्टॉप कर दिया. अभी जैसे लर्निंग डेवऑप्स वापस से स्टॉप हो गया, नाउ आई विल, राइट, स्टार्ट इट अगेन, राइट, स्टार्ट इंस्टेंस स्टेट में जाके इसको स्टार्ट किया. राइट, अभी ये स्टार्ट हो रहा है. ठीक है, और अभी इसका IP चेंज हो गया. अभी क्या है, पहले हमने क्या दिया था, IP सैंडविच सी पहले था 79 ना, एंड 79 पे रहा था. और अभी अगर आप देखोगे अभी IP इसका चेंज हो गया. अभी क्या है, 231. तो मैं क्या करूँगा, ये IP कॉपी करूँगा. ठीक है, मैं रनिंग स्टेट पे आ गया और मैं यहाँ पे कुछ चेंज नहीं करूँगा और मैं इसको सेव भी नहीं करूँगा क्योंकि IP हमेशा चेंज वाला है. तो मैं बस यहाँ पे IP कर दूंगा ऐसे. जब भी मेरे को नया लॉगिन करना है, नया IP लूंगा, यहाँ पे डाल दूंगा और ओपन कर लूंगा। ठीक है, सेव करने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर आपको हाँ उस दिन ज़्यादा कुछ करना है तो यू कैन सेव दैट IP फॉर अ डे, राइट, एंड सेव योर टाइम। तो आपने यहाँ पे now you are logged in and again, right, you can do. So this is the practice that you will do. Now another information which is important, now I am closing it. Okay. अब मान लो कईयों के पास क्या होता है, मैक लैपटॉप होगा या कई के पास यूबुंटू का लैपटॉप होगा, तो वो भी तो लॉगिन करना चाहिए उनको, है ना। वो कैसे करेंगे, उनको पुट्टी के थ्रू नहीं करना है। तो उनके लिए सही तरीका है जो मैं विंडोज़ में दिखा रहा हूँ, विंडोज़ में भी आप उस तरीके से लॉगिन कर सकते हो। तो आपको यहाँ पे क्या है, गिट बैश डाउनलोड करना होगा। तो क्या, गिट बैश। गिट बैश एक यूटिलिटी है जो आपको मतलब गिट के लिए जनरली यूज होता है। तो आप गिट बैश जाके डाउनलोड करोगे तो आपको डाउनलोड्स गिट में जाओ और यहाँ पे आपको मिल जाएगा गिट बैश। जैसे ये गिट इंस्टॉल करोगे, जो भी विंडोज़ के लिए करोगे, तो इट विल गिव यू अ गिट बैश। सो गिट बैश इज समथिंग लुक लाइक दिस। जब आपका इंस्टॉल होगा तो यहाँ पे गिट बैश इस तरह का आइकन आएगा, इसको क्लिक करोगे तो ये इस तरीके से खुल रहा है। जैसे यूबुंटू मैक के टर्मिनल्स होते हैं ना, वैसे टर्मिनल की टाइप। तो अगर मुझे टर्मिनल से लॉगिन करना है, राइट, तो मैं किस तरीके से करूँगा, एसएसएच प्रोटोकॉल यूज़ करूँगा। मैं -i फ्लैग यूज़ करूँगा आइडेंटिटी फाइल देने के लिए। मेरा आइडेंटिटी फाइल कहाँ पे, मेरा आइडेंटिटी फाइल है मेरे डी ड्राइव में, टूल्स में, कीज के अंदर जैन बैच करके पैम फाइल है। मैं यहाँ पे पीपीके यूज़ नहीं करूँगा, यहाँ पे मैं क्या यूज़ करूँगा, पैम यूज़ करूँगा। तो मैंने ऑथेंटिकेशन के लिए बोला भाई ये प्राइवेट की यूज़ करना है, और फिर मेरा यूज़र नेम @ राइट, मेरा IP, क्योंकि यहाँ पे मेरा इसका IP, मैं इसको कॉपी करके, तो ये जो भी विंडो कहते हैं यूबुंटू मैक टर्मिनल से करना चाहते हैं, वो ये कमांड यूज़ कर सकते हैं, SSH-i path of the key where your key is। and अगर इसका परमिशन ओपन हुआ या कुछ ऐसा है तो ये एरर देगा। ठीक है, हम उसको करेक्ट कर सकते हैं। तो ये कॉमन एरर आता ही है। अभी मैं इसको यस करूँगा, देखो इसने तो लॉगिन कर दिया, लेकिन कई बार क्या होता है आपको परमिशन डिनाइड इशू आ सकता है। ठीक है, अभी मैं EC2 मशीन पे हूँ, राइट, जैसे मैं वो पुट्टी से गया था वैसे मैं यहाँ टर्मिनल से गया। लेकिन कईयों को मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि परमिशन डिनाइड इशू आएगा अगर आपने डाउनलोड किया है, ऐसा कुछ किया, तो क्या रीज़न है उसका मैं आपको बता देता हूँ। So let me go to cd/d/tools keys। खास करके यूबुंटू मशीन पे आपको आएगा, ना कि गिट बैश हैंडल कर लेता है। तो यहाँ पे अगर मैं ls-ltr कर रहा हूँ ना, ये जो जैन बैच पीएम का परमिशन देख रहे हो, ये क्या है, क्या परमिशन है, कोई बताएगा, किसी को पता है परमिशंस कैसे रीड करते हैं?
644।
ये 644 है, राइट। जनरली ये जो पैम फाइल्स, इनका परमिशन इतना ओपन नहीं होना चाहिए। यूबुंटू में ये इस परमिशन पे नहीं चलता, यहाँ गिट बैश में चल गया। ठीक है, कितना होना चाहिए, 400। अगर आपको परमिशन डिनाइड का इशू आ रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ की, तो चेंज द परमिशन टू आइदर 600 और 400 फॉर पैम फाइल, देन इट विल राइट वर्क। इट इज टू ओपन परमिशन फॉर अ की, or git bash is able to handle, that is their flaw. But in Ubuntu terminal or Mac, right, you will get that issue, right, something related to, right, permission denied. In that case, go and change the permission of this file using which command, chmod command, chmod 400, right, gen batch dot pem, ऐसे करके रन करना होगा। ठीक है, 400 और 600 both are acceptable। ठीक है, ये चीज़ें याद रखना है। ठीक है, so this is how, right, we are going to get connected, right, to our AWS EC2 account. Okay, so any questions in this, guys? So any open question, right, like why we are doing on EC2 instance, why not, cannot we do in
Hello.
yes?
Okay. Is there any alternative way to connect AWS EC2 instance rather than Putty?
Yes, we can enable SSM, right, in those instance। snap से आप SSM डाल लो अगर Ubuntu है तो। SSM is a session manager utility, right, within this machine, and you can see, right, there's a connect option coming here,
Yes.
देख रहे हो? हाँ, तो यहाँ पे आप ऐसे करके क्लिक करोगे और अगर आपका सेशन मैनेजर इनेबल्ड है, अब यहाँ पे देखो मेरे में इंस्टॉल नहीं है तो मैं कनेक्ट नहीं कर पा रहा। अगर मैं उस मशीन पे जाके SSM इनेबल कर दूं, राइट,
Okay. Okay.
रन टाइम पे, तो देन आई कैन कनेक्ट। बट ये क्या है, ये आपका टर्मिनल पे आपको काम करना पड़ेगा थोड़ा, मतलब अगर यू आर कंफर्टेबल यू कैन यूज दैट, राइट, एल्स पुट्टी एंड दिस आर राइट, थोड़ा इजी रहता है उस पर काम करना,
ओके ओके ओके
ठीक है।
ओके।
जैसे पुट्टी का बेनिफिट क्या है, पुट्टी में कॉपी पेस्ट करने पे ज्यादा स्ट्रगल नहीं रहता, सिलेक्शन इज कॉपी, है
यस
ना,
यस।
पेस्ट, तो वो सारे बेनिफिट।
एक्चुअली ये एक क्वेश्चन मुझे इंटरव्यू में पूछा गया था, इसकी वजह से मैंने आपको पूछा।
So this would be the answer. They are
Yes,
actually looking for SSM. और
yes,
ये SSM जैसे बाय डिफॉल्ट देखो इनेबल नहीं होके आ रहा है, राइट, तो वी
yes,
कैन राइट बेक इमेजेस, है ना, इमेजेस को हम बेक कर सकते हैं विथ SSM इनेबल्ड वे में वो बने, है ना, कि जैसे वो
yes,
लॉन्च हो उसका SSM या वी
yes,
कैन डू व्हाट while launching instance we can use a way in advanced option we can pass right some certain commands which will right
yes,
enable the
yes,
SSM service in that.
yes, yes. Just like a script.
Yes, just write a small script. Yes, yeah,
Yes,
and that
yes.
way you can.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Any more queries, caution, guys?
No, Deepak, nothing.
Nothing. Okay. So let's move to AWS fundamentals. See, you have to understand this. It's a very basic fundamental I'm giving, and we will do a lab also, right? In terms to understand it in a better way. First of all, I just want to understand from you, right? What is compute, right? In terms of right, I'm talking in terms of right IT infrastructure. We can say what is compute?
Compute means the processing capacity of the particular servers.
Correct. Okay. So this is basically if we talk in terms, we can call it right any bare metal machine, right? Your laptop, your machines, right? Thick client, thin clients, whatever, right? They have a capability, right, to certain processing, right, for your requirement. And obviously, when they are doing processing, actually the computation or compute is happening, and therefore we use a terminology called compute for them. Okay. Now, with this compute, if we add the word cloud, right? So when we say cloud compute, so what do you mean by that?
That computing capabilities handled by cloud. Suppose we are using T2 micro.
Or if we add the word on demand, right?
Uh,
Earlier, what we have to do, अगर मुझे कोई मशीन चाहिए, एक हाई क्लास सर्वर चाहिए या कुछ भी चाहिए, तो मुझे क्या करना पड़ता है? प्रोक्योरमेंट टीम से बात करनी पड़ती है ना,
yes,
फिर
Yes,
yes,
yes.
प्रोक्योरमेंट टीम राइट वेंडर से बात करेगी और फिर वो लेकर आएगा, फिर वो डाटा सेंटर में जाएगा, राइट, बट नाउ
yes,
इट इज व्हाट, these computes are available on demand, right? You can get them ready within right half an hour, right, in a working state where you want to do certain. And this kind of compute which is available, right, from the vendors like Amazon, IBM, right, so they since they are giving you on demand, they are calling it what, cloud compute. Okay. So somewhere, right in their network, they had already have their data center. In that data center, they have already right all those infrastructure in place, and you are buying from right them from that infrastructure and able to access over internet, and therefore we call it what, cloud compute. Got my point, right? And
Yes.
EC2 is what, elastic cloud compute. Why it is elastic?
It can be increase or decrease, like you can increase the
Yes,
memory.
so there are family, right, type of machine that we have seen, right, as
Yes.
per need, right, we can choose of our need, and therefore there is an elasticity in it, so therefore we called elastic cloud compute. Now, this is a basic fundamental that right will take you right when we talk about AWS. So AWS is not about only a compute services. There are many other services, right, that your AWS is giving you. So AWS gives you storage, right, capabilities. They give you in terms of, you can say, AI, MI, machine learning stuff. They are giving you network services. They are giving you monitoring services. They are giving you cloud. You can say delivery over cloud, right? Basically, when I call it right, developer tools in AWS. So they are giving different sort of services. If you see, go to the services page, it is filled with the name of different services, right? For analytics, they have services. For everything, they had created certain kind of services which can be right, a user can right go as per the need. You can pay money and use them, right? And another benefit, right, is in terms of pricing, right, which is very open and transparent, right? So you are already aware, right, what you have to pay, and you can, right, decide as per the costing dashboard they have, right? Or you can say they also have a cost dashboard where you can calculate, right, if you use this service, how much or right it will cost you, and as per that you can design, right, your system as per the cost that it will take. So these are the things out there, right? That is true. But overall, we need to understand few things that I will first annotate. And I am taking example of AWS.
Deepak, one question.
Please.
Suppose like we have made some instances like
Hmm.
basic infra, like you told us, like three
Mhm.
server we are using,
Mhm.
and we stop those servers after every session.
Mhm.
So this course, like it will last for 3 months approximately. So
No, per month 720.
per month 720.
So it is not every month it will get renewed.
Okay, so basically, like once the server is stopped, so still occupying the storage capability. Like EBS volume will be still be in
Yes,
use.
it will be, EBS will be in use, right? For that you will be get charged if it is more than 30 GB, right? And
Okay,
if you're keeping them, else it will be free.
so on a monthly basis, like how much EBS volume they are giving, like for free?
No, there is no monthly basis. 30 is free. Above 30 is chargeable. 30 GB
30
for
GB.
EBS.
Like we will be holding it for like 4
Three
weeks
machine, three machines, right?
machines, and we will be holding for 4 weeks in a month.
There is no limit for that. 30 GB आप पूरे साल रखो, कोई चार्ज नहीं लगेगा.
Okay, okay,
बट अगर उसके ऊपर आपने कुछ ऐड कर दिया, और जैसे आज ही ऐड कर दिया, तो आज से चार्ज लगना शुरू हो जाएगा, जो 30
okay,
के ऊपर वाला है उसके लिए. ऐसा है, ठीक है.
okay, okay.
सो एंड आई ऑल्सो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि वो मैं आपको बताऊंगा कैसे वेव ऑफ करते हैं, राइट? अगर मान लो आपका 50,000 का भी बिल आता है गलती से,
Yeah.
मान लो, वो भी वेव ऑफ हो जाता है फ्री टायर में, ठीक है. सो यू शुड नॉट वरी फॉर लर्निंग, राइट? इफ फॉर एग्जांपल कई बार क्या होता है, थोड़ा बहुत अपने को अच्छे मशीन्स उठाने पड़ते हैं, लेने पड़ते हैं, राइट? उसका बिल आएगा तुम्हें मंथली. At that time, sincerely go and tell them, right? You were using for learning purposes, right? And you have deleted all those, right? And please waive off. And within 2 days, they will write waive off the fees. ठीक है. तो बट yes, awareness is good. तो awareness रहना चाहिए उस हिसाब से, right? ठीक है.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's understand, right? A few things, right? So I will be taking this. First of all, we need to understand few terminologies, right? So say this is an AWS right environment that I'm using, or in AWS, right? I have something called regions. So can anyone tell me, right, what are regions in AWS?
Regions are basically the geographic locations.
Yes, these are the big geographical area. For example, Maharashtra is a region. Okay. Let's take an example. Maharashtra is a region. It's a big geographical area, right? So AWS has defined those regions because in these regions they are going to give you, right, data centers, right? The
Yeah.
physical data center they are going to place them. And as per disaster recovery, this availability zones, right, could be any number, right? There is their decision, right, as per they have defined. But every availability zone in a particular region would be around 100 to 200 miles, right? uh, between them, right? There would be distance of them, because if something happens to, right, one of the, right, data center, another data center is capable of handling things, right? So obviously inside this region you have what?
Availability zones.
Availability zones. So there could be multiple availability zones, right? I'm just taking one just for, okay. So availability zones are what I told you. They are what? They are basically what? Physical data centers.
Yeah.
For example, Maharashtra is a region, and I have one availability zone, right, in Mumbai, another in Pune, right, another in Nagpur. Just an example. Okay. So what happens if something, so some flood happens in Mumbai, right? Right, still we have what? Two data center which will be, right, working in this particular region. So there would be a disaster recovery, and that is the motion. And remember, availability zones are nothing but a physical building, right, in which, right, there would be what? Racks, and those racks there would be, right, machines and networks, right, are in place, right? So all power and power and everything would be right there, right, to for your machines. Therefore, they are in a running position always, and they ensure that right 99.99. I don't know how many nines they right say, but that much of uptime they say that we will give you. So obviously there would be availability zones. Now in availability zone, right? For example, I am an individual, right, and I want right a company in which I have my own infrastructure. So I should define what my network, right? So that nobody, right, in same AWS region should talk, should right able to right get into my network. So obviously there is a concept of what network, which we call
VPCs.
VPCs. Correct. I just want to hear that only. What happened? Obviously there are. So VPC is what? Virtual private cloud. है ना? So why is private word used here? In the public cloud, there is a private word, right?
You can create your own network
Yes,
inside.
it is, right? As per the individual or an organization, they have their own, right? So VPC is nothing but kind of a virtual data center, right? So this is known as VPC, and VPC is a network, and every VPC would have a CIDR, है ना? CIDR क्या होता है? Classless
Interdomain.
हाँ, तो जो ये CIDR है VPC, मैं चाहता हूँ, मैं कैसे डिसाइड करूंगा कि भाई मेरा कितना का नेटवर्क होगा, उस हिसाब से कि मैं कितना मशीन बनाना चाहता हूँ, उस हिसाब का मैं VPC डिजाइन कर सकता हूँ. तो उसके लिए एक साइट है, लेट मी क्लोज इट फॉर अ व्हाइल, गो हियर, एंड देयर आर मेनी, राइट, डेविड नेट है, बहुत सारे हैं, राइट. तो मैं CIDR.xyz यूज कर रहा हूँ अभी. तो अगर मैं डिसाइड करना चाहता हूँ मेरे पास राइट इतना नेटवर्क का होना चाहिए, राइट, 10.0.1 2, और मैंने यहाँ पे 16 का, तो मेरे पास कितने मशीन आ गए टोटल? 65536, राइट. तो मैंने डिसाइड किया कि मेरे नेटवर्क पे आई माइट नीड दैट मच ऑफ मशीन्स का रिक्वायरमेंट है. मैंने उस हिसाब से किया. अगर मेरे को ज़्यादा मशीन नहीं चाहिए, ठीक है, तो मैं इसको अपने हिसाब से चेंज कर सकता हूँ और कम कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है. थोड़ा और कम कर दिया मैंने. जिस तरीके से मैं स्लैशिंग, राइट, जो सबनेटिंग है, राइट, वो बढ़ाऊंगा तो होगा. तो उसमें कैसे डिसाइड होता है? सी, ये जो दो पार्ट है, ये दो पार्ट आपका क्या हो गया? ये नेटवर्क डिफाइन कर रहा है 10.0, राइट, एंड बाकी आपका क्या मशीन का वैल्यू डिफाइन कर रहा है. जैसे अगर मैं यहाँ पे 2 डाल दूंगा तो 2 से स्टार्ट होगा, राइट. ये जितने बचे हुए उसके ऑक्टेट के बेसिस पे उसने कैलकुलेट किया कि कितने मशीन बचेंगे. तो जैसे जैसे मैं करूंगा उस हिसाब से वो कम ज़्यादा करते रहेगा मशीन को. तो there is a part which is a network part, and there is a part of the machine IP part, right, while deciding this CIDR. Okay, now I will go back to annotation. Okay, yep. So ये VPC तो मैंने एक CIDR डिसाइड कर लिया. उस CIDR के बेसिस पे मैंने डिसाइड किया कि भाई मेरा जो नीड है उसके हिसाब से मैंने एक CIDR एलोकेट किया. And in that right CIDR I can create what? My sub networks, है ना. मैं बना सकता हूँ उसमें क्या, मेरे एक बड़ा नेटवर्क है उसके अंदर मैं उसको तोड़ के छोटे नेटवर्क, जो मेरा CIDR है उसको मैं ब्रेक कर सकता हूँ. जैसे /16 का मेरा है, उसके अंदर में मैं /28 के दो नेटवर्क बना सकता हूँ, है ना, जितने मशीन मुझे चाहिए. तो ऑब्वियसली आई कैन हैव राइट सबनेट्स इन माय अवेलेबिलिटी zones. I can create, so take this is one subnet that I am creating. Let's choose the color. This is another subnet. So these two that I created are right what subnets, and subnet would also have their CID, and I have to calculate because my subnet right definition should not be outside the VPC CIDR, है ना?
Yes.
And obviously two subnet CIDR should not be overlapping also. So that how you will right give the right. Now how things actually work, right? For example, you have certain EC2 instance created. and you are hosting certain web application here. For example, you have hosted some web application here. Okay, and it is running on say port some 8090. Okay. So how end user, which is right over internet here, right? This is some end user want to use that web application. तो क्या करेगा?
IP:8090
जो भी जो वेब एप्लीकेशन है, जो भी मान लो इस सर्वर का आईपी है, राइट, है ना, उस पे वो 894 पे हिट करेगा, है ना. तो
it is in public subnet.
if it is in public subnet, नहीं तो there are different way, right? लोड बैलेंसेस रख सकते हैं, है ना, डिजाइन जो डिजाइन एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, ठीक है. It could be 2 tier, 3 tier, 5 tier approach, whatever you design. Now, this end user, in a very generic term, I'm telling right now, it's a very fundamental, right? So it will try to hit, right, AWS with that application. Obviously, when you are hitting, right, internet will route you to AWS, right? And AWS have its own what? Internet gateway.
Gateways, yeah.
So I will just write that here. You see, they have their own internet gateway. And any other way? There could be direct connect also, right? Lease line connection to AWS, right? So there could be a direct connect also. So bigger organization, right, might prefer because of, right, to reduce latency and all that. They have money, they can use, right, lease line that's called direct connect. So through that also it can. Now, obviously, whatever happens, right, request when comes, right, it should be routed to a proper location, but it should pass through certain, right, you can say filters or certain checks. So obviously, before reaching to this VPC, right, there would be what? There would be a NACL, right, defined, right, in the VPC, है ना? So यहाँ पे आपका क्या होगा, एक नेटवर्क एक्सेस कंट्रोल लिस्ट डिफाइन किया कि कौन से पोर्ट आ सकते हैं, कौन से पोर्ट. तो ऑब्वियसली रिमेंबर नेकल में क्या हो सकता है, इनकमिंग हो सकता है अलाउड हो 8090 पे, बट आउटगोइंग में भी डिनाई हो सकता है, ठीक है, नेकल केस में. तो ऑब्वियसली अगर मैं 8090 पे कर रहा हूँ, हिट पहुंच गई इधर में, बट उसका रेस्पॉन्स नहीं मिलेगा अगर मैंने डिनाई किया होगा, राइट. अगर मुझे चाहिए तो मेरे को 8090 को बहुत अलाउ करना, मतलब अलाउ बोथ साइड, राइट, करना पड़ेगा, आउटबाउंड और इनबाउंड के लिए नेकल पे डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा. तो ऑब्वियसली ये इंटरनेट गेटवे राउट टू अ प्रॉपर VPC and right through NACL it will understand, right, where it will go, and then it will get routed to a, right, proper subnet, right, and in that web. अब यहाँ पे जो भी वेब एप्लीकेशन का जो रिक्वेस्ट है, इसका जो रेस्पॉन्स है वो उसी में मिलेगा. बट रिमेंबर मैंने यहाँ पे एक चीज मिस किया है, राइट. इस सबनेट के अंदर इस इंस्टेंस के ऊपर एक और चीज है, क्या है, सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप है.
That port should be open.
हाँ, और सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप में 8090 पोर्ट शुड बी ओपन, राइट. if it is not open, right, obviously we'll get a timeout, right. So security group, right, if you allow, right, 8090, right, both inbound and outbound, right, is actually allowed. मतलब वो inbound भी करेगा, outbound भी करेगा अगर आपने rule define किया security group में, right, और allow किया है 8090 को, तो inbound outbound दोनों के लिए, right, available हो जाता है. तो obviously security group पे आएगा, यहाँ से response जाएगा वापस से नेकल के थ्रू, राइट, अलाउ होगा और वो एंड यूजर को वापस उसका रेस्पॉन्स जाएगा. सो टिपिकल फ्लो, राइट, while accessing is this, but in actuality there are many other things will come in picture, right. There are many other services, right, may come in picture, right, if you're using S3, CloudFront, right, and other entities that will come into picture. Okay.
Yes.
So any question, guys, here in this part?
No.
Okay, so I will not bother you in the first lecture a lot, right, but with this three top level agenda, right, I will bind up. Important thing would be for your Google Classroom, so that I can share the videos and assignments to you, right. You need to pass your email ID to Nikat. I will talk to Nikat and Nikat will communicate you, right, regarding what is the procedure, and then I will share you the Google Classroom ID, and you can get your all videos, documents downloaded from there, right, and it is a lifetime, so it will be available for you for lifetime. Okay. Now, beside that, any other queries, caution that you want to ask, address, right? Maybe on the session itself, right, or anything that you want to pass on, because this first lecture we should be on the same channel, right, on the same page. If there is something right here and there you are feeling, you can come right up front and talk, because this is going to be a 2 month right experience, and I don't want we should start with something right where there is some miscommunication or something.
So basically, you will be giving any documentation as well for this, like
Yes, let me show you that it will give you a good idea. I will go to my one of the Google Classroom. Let me first remove this annotation. Okay, this one, this is one which is going on. Okay, so if you see this is the classwork that I pass to all the students, right. So in every section, let me go back. So I want to show you the videos that I post for every say for example this account creation video that I have shared with them, instructions. Okay, so this kind of documents that you will get, right, there would be a video, right, there would be account creation document, right, and it is basic PPT, right, and also this is a lecture, right, that I will be doing a hands-on lab, right, building a serverless page exercise that we will be going to do. So this all would be passed on us by the class, right, what we will do, so that will be passed to you, so that you can follow this and do the labs with me. So in class I will be performing the lab, right, and you can do with me, or else after completion of my video you can look into video and complete with you hands-on, doing hands-on. So everything would be lab oriented, and you have to do hands-on. Okay.
yeah, great.
So there are means generally see how I do basically. I will show you again. So I go to classwork, right, and here I create for you assignments, and this all assignments I have given to them, right, my recent batch. And if you go to my old batch, right, you go to classwork. If you see a lot of right, it is for Ansible, Docker, right, so, Git functions, Python, right. And I will share these videos on Unix also. I told you as in the class, right. So I will share my all the tutorials on Unix. So that is again an added advantage for you. Go through them. Never sideline that I would say. You will miss a lot. These are good videos. It will give you a lot of benefit in terms of interview and cracking interview. Okay.
Yeah, so basically each and everything that you will be teaching us, so you
Mm.
will be giving the documentation as well for those.
Yes.
Oh,
For
yeah.
every video, wherever exercises required, exercises will be given to you, right. So see, for example, this is a Terraform, right, using lab Terraform MP4. It was VPC creation using this as an exercise, right, that you have to perform. Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Yes.
So then thank you for today, right? So I will talk to Nikat and right those right you want share your email with her maybe, right? She will definitely come to you. Okay. Okay then guys,
Deepak,
anything else? Yeah.
yeah, I just want to ask one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have any exposure of coding earlier than that.
Mm.
So,
So for you, I definitely ask you to go through that Unix video. Whatever
yeah,
we will be doing, right, it's not going to impact you at for sure, right? So whatever the course that we will be doing, it's not going to impact. But I want you to improve on that. Therefore, I'm giving you that Unix, right, self-scripting videos. And in Python also, I will give you certain knowledge, right, how to do certain kind of automation coding that you should be aware. For example, right, writing simple, right, conditional statement, loops, and all those, right, that I will pass you on. And also a very basic concept, right, how variables, data structure point of view, I'm going to pass in the Python lecture. But if you go through that Unix video, which is end to end, right, for a
mhm,
beginner to some level of automation, I would say, right, if you go very thoroughly, you may become expert, I would say. It depends upon, right, individual to individual, how they perceive and, right, how they perform. If you take it seriously, right, that
mhm,
Unix videos, I'm telling you, if you don't have a background, right, you will, right, learn it, because this has been important to many students while doing my classroom trainings, right, online
yeah,
trainings. And remember, if you're facing any challenge, right,
mhm,
anything, right, while learning, going through video or learning, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, I would be available. Call me कि मैं यहाँ पे struggle कर रहा हूँ, क्या reason है, I will definitely, right, counsel you and help you around that कि क्या गलती कर रहे हो. सेकेंड चीज होता है, जब भी आप कोडिंग करते हो, कोडिंग इज नॉट समथिंग, राइट, कि 2-3 दिन आपने वीडियो देखा और आ गया, ऐसा नहीं होता.
mhm,
It is, right, a disciplined practice for 1 to 3 months, right? Then only, right, you will not lose also what you are learning, and you will, right, keep with yourself जो भी पढ़ा है और जो भी किया है. जब तक प्रैक्टिस नहीं करोगे और हैंड्स ऑन नहीं करोगे, नहीं होगा. जैसे मैं जब भी बोलता हूँ, हमेशा अगर आपने थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल लिया पढ़ के, तो स्टार्ट डूइंग हैकाथन, जो हैकर रैंक के जो एक्सरसाइजेस है ना, उस पे जाके बेसिक एक्सरसाइजेस हैकर रैंक के पहले करना शुरू करो. वो थोड़ा, वो है, क्या बोलते हैं आपको, बोलते हैं आदत लग जाती है कि अरे एक बार ये क्वेश्चन कर लेता हूँ, ये कर लेता हूँ. तो वो जब हैबिट वहां पे जाने लगेगा, देन यू विल सी इंप्रूवमेंट इन यू, और वो आपको फायदा ही देगा आगे जाके. ठीक है. So go through
sure.
those videos. I'm definitely I can give you some highlights of those videos if you want, right? मैं आपको एक highlight दे देता हूँ, आपको समझ में आएगा कि किस तरीके से वो बताया गया है. So that will give you कि क्या है वो. It's not something कि हवा में नहीं है. It's very
Mhm,
right. मैं आपको एक वीडियो प्ले करके दिखाता हूँ. ठीक है, यूनिक्स का है. Not Unix, it is, there are ये वाले function, set starter, set and regular expression. ठीक है, ये वाला ही देख लेते हैं. आई डोंट नो ऑडियो आप लोग को आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, बट so I will be moving ahead a bit. So just I want to show you that what this is the code that we have written, right? A function.
This is in the shebang, right?
So this is right video which is right above the basics, जो नीचे basics पढ़ाए हैं तो उसके ऊपर का एक वीडियो है. तो इसमें हम right modular approach में कैसे shell script लिखते हैं वो बताया हुआ है. तो उसके बेसिक्स वाले वीडियो अगर आप देखोगे तो उसमें आपको और मतलब क्लियर होगा. तो धीरे धीरे हर चीज, तो ये हैंड्स ऑन पूरा दिया हुआ है कैसे करना है, आप इसको देख के कर सकते हो राइट, और सीख सकते हो पूरा का पूरा. ठीक है. So I hope whatever message I want to pass to everyone, you are getting that right. So go through this video. These are very hands on, right? Each and everything from basic variables to right how to write function, how to write loops, and with very good examples with right hands on coding exercises. It's there in those videos. So then you will enjoy it actually.
Have you already shared or you are going to share that
So
videos?
I need your email ID, right? Or in this Google Classroom, I have to create a Google Classroom for you. So Nikat would be approaching to you, right, with for your email IDs and everything, so that I can include in my Google Classroom. And then today by EOD, I have to put this video that I today did, right? I have to pass on that documentation of AWS account creation, right? And AWS PPT. That those I will share with all the Unix videos that I have. Okay.
Sure. So, as per you, that the shell and Python will be enough.
Yes, see shell तो कहीं खत्म नहीं होने वाला, वो हर जगह रहेगा ही रहेगा, है ना. बिना शेल के तो काम नहीं होने वाला ना कहीं चलता ही है, वो आएगा ही आएगा. पाइथन इज वेरी डिमांडिंग, और पाइथन अभी क्या है, बहुत ज़्यादा पॉपुलर है. तो अगर आप मार्केट में देखोगे, अगर आपको रिज्यूमे में पाइथन लिखा हुआ है तो ही इज गोइंग टू प्रेफर यू ना. जिसने नहीं लिखा है उससे तो प्रेफर आपको ही करेगा. तो आपके रिज्यूमे में होना चाहिए वो, इसीलिए. ठीक है. अभी आप देखोगे जब मैं 2006 में था, ये 2009 की बात है, तब पर्ल बहुत पॉपुलर था, पाइथन कहीं पे भी नहीं था. ठीक है. पर्ल मार्केट में था और पर्ल के बेसिस पे ही जॉब लग रहे थे. मेरा परसिस्टेंट में पर्ल के कारण हुआ था, राइट, सिलेक्शन पर्ल स्क्रिप्टिंग के कारण. एंड व्हाट हैपेंड सडनली, राइट, पर्ल गायब हो गया मार्केट से. हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? अभी कहीं सुनते हो आप, कहीं किसी राइट जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिखता है कहीं पे ज़्यादा? तो
नहीं.
टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसा ही है. ठीक है. तो जो चीज़ें मार्केट डिमांड कर रही है उस हिसाब से आपको अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए. ठीक है. तो पाइथन का भी फीचर काफ़ी अच्छा है, राइट. और आप पाइथन पे आप इन्वेस्ट करोगे, राइट, इन टर्म्स ऑफ सम ऑटोमेशन स्किल, राइट, विद क्लाउड इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू अ लॉट. ठीक है.
Fine.
Okay, anything else guys before I will close?
So the next lecture will be on next Saturday, right?
Yes, our timing would be same, 8 to 11.
Okay.
So maybe, right, it will not go to 11 by 10:30, right? Generally we wind, because 3-hour session I always feel, right, is too much, right? And please never right hesitate. If you want a break in between, we can have a 5-minute break also in between, right? That is a better approach, right, in terms of study. It should not be continuous. So,
Deepak, the duration of this course will be of 2
months. Generally keep like for 8 weeks, right?
Okay.
Anything else, guys?
And up to which extent we are going to cover cloud?
See,
Means,
in cloud we will be doing right basics, not much, but yes, we will be doing certain labs in terms of right integrating services. But everything we are using open source tools, right, like Jenkins, Maven, Git, okay, Ansible, Terraform, right. But our examples, right, for example, when we are learning Ansible, we will be doing provisioning of AWS, right, Terraform, right, creation of VPC. This kind of lab would be there.
so just need to ask that is it good to go for certification of AWS after this?
See, I would say, right, as a beginner you should think of 2 tracks, right. अगर आप अभी स्टार्ट करो तो 2 ट्रैक होते हैं. एक होता है आपका राइट कंसल्टेशन और एक होता है डेवलपर ट्रैक. ठीक है. तो जो डेवऑप्स प्रोफेशनल होते हैं वो क्या होते हैं, वो किस ट्रैक पे जाते हैं, जनरली डेवलपर ट्रैक पे जाते हैं, है ना। और जो कंसल्टिंग करते हैं वो एसोसिएट एग्जाम्स देते हैं, राइट, इस तरह के सपोर्ट में जाते हैं, जो मतलब टू मच टैक्टिकल नहीं होता, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ कंसल्टिंग हेल्प करता है। तो आपके एग्जाम्स जिस तरीके से होते हैं, पहले आप देते हो प्रैक्टिशनर, है ना, क्लाउड प्रैक्टिशनर होता है, क्लाउड प्रैक्टिशनर के बाद आइदर यू कैन गिव एसोसिएट और आइदर यू कैन गिव दिस सिसऑप्स और डेवलपर का एसोसिएट एग्जाम, राइट। तो आपको चूज करना होगा। तो मैं ये बोलूंगा कि इन फ्यूचर, राइट, दिस DevOps, SysOps, right, with associate and DevOps professional, right? If you have this in your somewhere, right, resume or knowledge, so certification is different thing and knowledge is different thing. If you have that knowledge, right, you're going to survive for a long time. ऐसा है, ठीक है। तो आपको चूज भी करना हो सकता है कि आपका इंक्लिनेशन कहाँ पे है, ठीक है। कंसल्टिंग का क्या, कंसल्टिंग की जॉब प्री सेल्स, डिजाइन, राइट, कि इस तरह से इंप्लीमेंट होना चाहिए, ये सब सर्विसेज ऐसे इंटीग्रेट होते हैं, ये सब चीजों में होता है, उसमें थोड़ा बहुत टेक्निकल आएगा, बट जो इंप्लीमेंट करेगा, राइट, वही डेवलपर टूल यूज करने वाला है ना। कोड पाइपलाइन जो AWS का सर्विस है या कोड स्टार है, वो कौन यूज करेगा, जो इस वाले ट्रैक पे जाएगा ना, डेवऑप्स वाले ट्रैक पे जाएगा, AWS का डेवऑप्स प्रोफेशनल ट्रैक जो है, ठीक है।
Okay.
So is it mandatory to do solution architect first, then?
It is mandatory, I would say. Start with cloud practitioner and then
Okay.
think whether you want to give a cloud associate or SysOps or right developer. उसमें आप चॉइस ले सकते हो, आइदर से एसोसिएट पे जाना है तो एसोसिएट करना स्टार्ट करो, अगर आपको राइट डेवलपर जाना है या डेवऑप्स प्रोफेशनल करना है तो सिसऑप्स या डेवलपर वाला एग्जाम दो।
Okay, okay.
ठीक है, एनीथिंग एल्स गाइस?
वी कैन कॉल यू एनी टाइम, राइट? कभी भी आपको कॉल कर सकते हैं ना, किसी
बिल्कुल,
भी
हाँ, मतलब
टाइप का डाउट है।
रात के 1-2 बजे भी कर सकते हो ऐसे, अगर मैं रहा हो नहीं रहा हूँ तो उठा लूंगा, जनरली मैं रेस्पॉन्स कर देता हूँ, ठीक है। और अगर मैं ऑफिस में कॉल में हूँगा, राइट, अगर मैं मान लो आपका कॉल नहीं उठाया, आपने व्हाट्सएप किया है, तो मैं रेस्पॉन्स जरूर करूंगा थोड़ी देर बाद, राइट, जब भी मैं अवेलेबल हूँगा ऐसे, ठीक है।
तो बेसिकली आपका ऑफिस टाइम क्या रहेगा, मतलब आपका ऑफिस टाइम क्या
मेरा
रहता
ऑफिस
है?
टाइम तो ऐसे बोलूंगा तो 9 to 6 है, बट इट वेरीज, राइट, कई बार काम होता है तो ज्यादा भी रहता है, कई बार नहीं होता है तो फ्री भी रहता है, बट इट डजंट मीन मैं उसके बीच में कॉल नहीं उठा सकता 9 to 6, ठीक है, मैं उठा सकता हूँ कॉल उसके बीच में भी कभी भी, ठीक है।
ओके,
it's that flexible, right, don't worry about that, right, reachability and everything, right, I would be there to help you, okay. Anything else, guys?
Hey, hi, this is Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh.
I joined late. Could not attend what we have discussed.
So you have joined quite late, I think, Mahesh, right?
So that is my only question, that by what time you will be uploading all these details so I can go through this?
So for that, right, I will after this call, I will talk to Nikat, and Nikat will put some message in terms of Google Classroom, right? And once everyone there is ready, right, then I will share a Google Classroom link, right? And when you get a Google Classroom link, right, try to access it and let me know, and then there you will find the videos and everything. Okay.
Sure. You want to suggest something like today I'm having some free time, so I can go.
So first of all, for everyone, please do AWS account creation, right? That I told you, right, which was part of our second agenda, right? So we need that. We need an instance, right, in AWS, right, where you are comfortable at least to log in into that. तो अगर आपका लॉगिन वॉगिन सब ये इस वीक में आप सेटअप कर लेते हो, राइट, आई विल डेफिनेटली शेयर द वीडियो जहाँ पे इंस्ट्रक्शन दिए मैंने आज, तो उसको फॉलो करना है और लॉगिन करके देखना है। अगर उसमें कुछ स्ट्रगल हो रहा है या कुछ हो रहा है तो मुझे व्हाट्सएप पे पिंग करना या कॉल करना, ठीक है, आई विल हेल्प यू आउट। सो वही है, मेरे लिए प्रीरिक्विजिट ये है कि आप पहले तो अकाउंट क्रिएट और ये सब रेडी करके रख लो, और दूसरा प्रीरिक्विजिट ये है कि जो मैं यूनिक्स के वीडियो शेयर करूंगा, राइट, इन योर फ्री टाइम गो थ्रू देम, उनको थोड़ा सा राइट गो थ्रू करो, दैट्स गोइंग टू हेल्प यू। important session start with very basics like evolution of Unix वाला जो वीडियो से start करो, फिर VI में अपना कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ाने के लिए VI का डेमो है वहाँ पे वीडियो, ठीक है मेरा, उस VI के वीडियो को देखो, क्योंकि आपको कई बार लिखना होगा, कंफर्टेबल फील नहीं करोगे तो डिफिकल्ट होगा, अगर बट आप वो सेशन देखोगे और उस पर थोड़ा सा हैंड्स ऑन करोगे तो आपको फिर कंफर्टेबल होगा, ठीक है. Though I will be in class lecture, I will be helping you, repeating those things for you again and again. Okay, don't worry. But I will suggest you create your account and be ready with your account, AWS account.
So you will be sharing this Linux video and all material.
Yes,
Same
yes.
class group or separately you will be sharing after?
No, it will be in the Google Classroom for this batch,
It will take
right?
time. Okay.
And it will be for your lifetime.
Yes.
Okay. If you want to download, you can download it also, right? For
Yeah, thanks.
Deepak, your contact number is you are on that group, right?
yes, my number is 9689896691.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
All done?
Yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time, right? So we will go ahead. I will talk to Nikat and we will communicate you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you.